Have you ever wondered why some ordinary women can catch the attention of a millionaire, while millions of others can't? Let's face it, you can't expect to meet a millionaire while sitting at home, dreaming of a glamorous life. They're not hanging out in your average street cafes, nor are they spending their days at the local park. If you want to step into their world, you must enter the spaces they already inhabit, the exclusive locations they frequent to unwind, socialize, and grow their influence. Why is this so important? Because the world of millionaires is not the same as the world of the everyday person. If you want to get noticed by them, you have to be where they are. Visibility is the key to creating opportunities, and in these spaces, you will have the chance to catch their attention, if not by chance, then by choice. Get a membership at luxury. Resorts like Four Seasons or the Ritz. Picture yourself at a place like the Four Seasons Resort in Maui, where the atmosphere is a mix of tranquility and sophistication. This is not just a place to get away, but also a hub for the elite. Millionaires often choose these kinds of resorts because they offer privacy, high-end amenities, and the kind of atmosphere that screams wealth. What's more, the Ritz-Carlton in Paris or the Beverly Hills Hotel in Los Angeles are not just hotels. They are also key social spots for those with connections. Getting access to these venues could mean simply purchasing a day pass to the pool, enjoying their world-class spa services, or dining at their renowned restaurants. By doing this, you increase your chances of bumping into the right people who may very well be successful entrepreneurs, investors, or industry leaders. You see, these aren't just places to relax. They're spaces where networking happens naturally. People who frequent these resorts often do so not only for leisure, but also to meet others with similar social or business standing. Investing in your presence at these luxurious places puts you in the right environment to meet influential people and start building those valuable connections. Join exclusive sports clubs or high-end gyms. Exclusive fitness clubs are another goldmine for meeting millionaires. These are not your typical gyms. These are places like Equinox in New York, the Harbor Club in London, or the Country Club in Los Angeles, venues where only the affluent are granted access. Here, you don't just work out. You mingle with people who have the same level of success, ambition, and lifestyle. Membership fees at these places may be higher, but they give you access to the elite world. Imagine yourself at an exclusive squash match, a private yoga class, or a high-end tennis game. Millionaires and high-profile individuals value their health, but they also love the idea of keeping their social circles tight. These clubs give them the chance to network while working out. Joining these clubs doesn't just give you access to luxury gyms or tennis courts. It gives you access to a social ecosystem where people who are making big decisions and creating wealth are regularly present. If you've ever wanted to make connections in a more organic way, this is the place to be. Attend high-profile charity events and networking galas. Charity events are the meeting grounds for the wealthy and influential. Millionaires are not just driven by financial success. They are also drawn to causes they care about and enjoy supporting through charity. Events like the Amphiar Gala in Cannes, the Met Gala in New York, or even local charity auctions in big cities, are more than just opportunities to give. They are prime networking opportunities. By attending these events, you are automatically placed in the same room as people who have the power to make things happen. People who are looking for both meaningful causes and new connections. And let's face it, millionaires often attend these events because they offer the best of both worlds: high-end entertainment and the chance to network with like-minded individuals in a discreet, comfortable environment. You don't need to be an influencer or a billionaire to attend these events. Many charity events sell tickets for a premium, allowing access to an exclusive audience that would otherwise be hard to reach. Think about it. You're not only attending an event for a good cause, but you're also deliberately stepping into a space where millionaires and other successful individuals come together. Why invest your time and effort? You might be thinking, why should I invest time, money, and effort into these exclusive places? The answer is simple: because visibility matters. The truth is, you can't expect to meet millionaires by sitting in a coffee shop or hanging out at your local mall. You need to be where the action is. Whether it's a pool at a 5-star resort, a private club where business leaders are discussing strategies, or a high-profile event where opportunities are born, you have to be there to be noticed. By investing your resources into attending these venues, you're increasing your chances of crossing paths with someone who could change your life. That brief moment of eye contact, that chance conversation, could lead to something far bigger. These environments are where relationships and connections are built, and your investment in being present in these spaces could be the gateway to meeting the person who might just open doors to your dreams. I hope this part captures the excitement and intrigue around the idea of placing yourself in these elite environments. This section paints a clear picture of why it's worth it to be strategic about where you spend your time if you want to meet successful individuals. How do you feel about this version? Is it engaging enough for your... When you step into high-class environments, the way you present yourself is often your first ticket for people to decide whether or not they'll approach you. It's not just about how you look. It's about how you carry yourself, how you fit into the sophisticated world you're entering. Your appearance is a reflection of your own personal brand, and in these elite spaces, it speaks louder than words. But here's the secret. Don't try too hard to stand out. While it's tempting to wear flashy designer clothes or bold accessories, in an attempt to grab attention, this can often have the opposite effect. Millionaires and high-net-worth individuals are accustomed to wealth and status. They don't need to see overt displays of wealth or materialism. Instead, they appreciate a woman who embodies effortless elegance. So how can you make a lasting impression without being over the top? The key is elegance, simplicity, and sophistication. Imagine walking into an upscale event where the atmosphere is quiet, yet filled with the subtle hum of luxury. You're not wearing something that screams for attention, but your outfit exudes an undeniable aura of class, the kind of style that says, "I don't need to try hard, I just am." That's the kind of look that commands respect and draws people in. Here's how to get it right. Choose timeless pieces. Simple, well-fitted dress in a neutral tone, think beige, navy, or soft black, can do wonders. You don't need to wear a flashy gown to look stunning. Instead, opt for a dress that flatters your figure without being too tight or too loose. Less is more in this case. For instance, a midi dress with a tailored silhouette, paired with elegant accessories, will give you a timeless yet modern look that's appropriate for any high-class gathering. Remember, the goal is not to be the center of attention, but to attract the right kind of attention. Keep your shoes classic and elegant. When it comes to shoes, there's no need for the loud, over-the-top designs. Go for classics. A pair of nude or black heels that elongate your legs and add a subtle touch of sophistication. Brands like Manolo Blahnik or Jimmy Choo offer timeless styles that are both fashionable and classy. However, the key is comfort. Choose shoes you can walk in confidently. When you step into a room with confidence, you automatically make a lasting impression. And it's the kind of impression you want to leave in these elite spaces. Focus on grooming and personal care. Your appearance isn't just about the clothes you wear, but also about your overall grooming. Keep your hair neat and well-styled, but don't go overboard. A simple blowout or an elegant updo can make you look polished without being too formal. Your makeup should be subtle and natural. You're aiming for a look that enhances your features, not a dramatic transformation. A light foundation, soft eyeliner, and a touch of blush are all you need to look fresh and refined. And don't forget to spritz on a delicate fragrance. Choose something light and floral, not overpowering. A well-chosen scent can be incredibly alluring and leave a lasting impression, making people want to get closer to you. Stand tall, walk with confidence. A major part of your appearance is how you carry yourself. Posture is everything. When you stand tall, with your shoulders back and head high, you project an image of confidence and self-assuredness. This is far more impactful than anything you could wear. Your walk should be graceful, purposeful, and measured. Take your time, don't rush, and maintain a pace that reflects your poise. Millionaires are often drawn to women who can walk into a room and command attention through their presence, not just their clothes. Show your confidence. Through your eyes. The power of eye contact cannot be overstated. A confident look, a slight smile, a steady gaze, can communicate far more than words ever could. Eyes are incredibly magnetic. When you make eye contact with someone, you show that you're self-assured, engaged, and ready for the interaction. The bottom line in high-class environments, your appearance serves as an introduction before you even open your mouth. The key to attracting the right attention isn't about being loud or ostentatious. It's about being quietly captivating. A simple, classic look paired with impeccable grooming and confident body language will leave a lasting impression on those around you. In these circles, you'll find that elegance and sophistication speak volumes without saying a word. Now that you've placed yourself in the right environment, the next step is to open the door for conversation. The key here is to not overthink it. There's no need to come up with a deep or clever opening line. Successful men appreciate naturalness and intelligence, not someone trying too hard. The goal is to start a conversation that feels genuine, easy, and unforced. It's all about simplicity and curiosity. Men who have reached a high level of success are usually surrounded by people trying to impress them, so they value authenticity. A conversation that feels natural will stand out more than any rehearsed pickup line or complicated question. So how do you break the ice and make an impression without sounding like you're trying too hard? Here's how to approach it. Ask questions. Based on your surroundings, when you're in an exclusive environment, chances are you're both experiencing something unique. Whether it's a relaxing poolside, a trendy art gallery, or a gourmet restaurant, there's always something you can comment on or inquire about to get the conversation flowing. At the pool, imagine meeting him at a luxury resort pool, the sun shining down and the water glistening. You've spotted him lounging by the pool, looking relaxed, but still very much in his element. You approach with a natural smile and say, "Do you swim here often? I've heard this pool is famous for its natural saltwater design. I read somewhere it's incredibly refreshing." It's a simple question, related to the environment you're both in, and it doesn't require him to give a complicated response. He might share his thoughts on the pool, or even talk about the resort itself. The key is that you've opened a non-invasive conversation based on something you both share in that moment. At an art gallery. Now picture yourself at an art gallery, filled with modern paintings, and you spot him observing one of the pieces. You could ask something like, "Do you have a favorite style of art? I've always found modern art a bit difficult to understand. What do you think about this piece?" This question is intelligent, light, and curious, showing that you're open to learning and appreciate his perspective. The beauty of this question is that it doesn't come off as interrogative. It's more of a mutual exploration of the art. You're not asking him about his wealth, his work, or his social status. Instead, you're starting a conversation based on a shared environment and a natural curiosity about his tastes. Keep it light and fun. The goal is to avoid sounding like you're conducting an interview or placing any pressure on the conversation. Successful men, especially those who are often surrounded by people who want something from them, value someone who can engage in a conversation without ulterior motives. The key to a good conversation is playfulness and lightness. Keep your tone friendly, and avoid questions that feel too deep or overly personal right away. If you keep things easygoing and playful, he will be more likely to enjoy the interaction. For example, at a social event, you might casually comment on something in the room. "This event is beautiful, but I've been trying to figure out how they managed to organize it so perfectly. It almost feels like a work of art on its own." Such a comment opens the door for him to respond, but doesn't force him into a corner. It shows that you're observant and appreciate the finer things, but it also invites him to share his opinion. Avoid coming off as inquisitive. This one is crucial. Don't turn your conversation into an interrogation. Asking too many questions can make you seem overly eager or pushy. You want to create an equal exchange of conversation, not a situation where he feels like he's being interviewed. For instance, if you're at a charity event and you happen to start chatting with him, don't ask, "So what do you do for a living? How much is your net worth? What car do you drive?" These are all questions that would feel intrusive and uncomfortable, especially in the early stages of a conversation. Instead, let the conversation flow naturally and give him space to share what he's comfortable with. Let the conversation unfold naturally. Remember, a natural conversation doesn't have to be forced or complex. Sometimes the simplest observations can open up the most meaningful exchanges. The goal is to enjoy the moment, be curious, and show an interest in him without coming off as too eager or rehearsed. Here's the thing. The more you try to force the perfect conversation, the more pressure you put on yourself. Instead, focus on being present and engaged in the moment. Let the conversation evolve naturally from whatever you're both experiencing at that time. Final thought. Starting a conversation with a successful man doesn't need to be difficult. You don't need to impress him with flashy lines or complicated topics. Simply approach him with a genuine curiosity, confidence, and a light-hearted tone, and you'll have the opportunity to build a natural connection. At the end of the day, successful men appreciate authenticity, ease, and someone who can engage in a conversation without an agenda. Keep it simple, keep it real, and watch how easily doors open for you. In high-end environments, successful men often encounter people who are skilled in conversation. They hear compliments all the time. But what truly sticks with them is something far subtler. It's the small, thoughtful gestures, the meaningful compliments, and the way you make them feel noticed and appreciated without obvious flattery. Subtlety is the key. Successful individuals, especially those with high profiles, are constantly surrounded by people who are trying to impress them. But the truth is, what they remember the most isn't the loudest comment, the most extravagant praise, or the showiest gesture. What stays with them is the genuine, quiet charm, the things you say or do that reflect an understanding of who they are beyond their wealth or status. So, how do you make a lasting impression? Let's dive into how you can use subtlety and grace to stand out in a crowd. Master the power of your eyes. First, let's talk about eye contact. It might sound simple, but in high-stakes environments, the way you communicate with your eyes can convey more than words ever will. When you smile, don't overdo it. Don't laugh too loudly, or try to draw attention to yourself in an exaggerated way. Instead, soften your smile and let your eyes speak. Look directly at him, but not in an intense, overpowering way. Maintain a comfortable, welcoming gaze. Your eyes should invite connection, making the conversation feel intimate and meaningful. This creates an unspoken bond, and successful men will notice how you can communicate so much with such subtlety. Compliment beyond the surface. When it comes to giving compliments, avoid focusing on their wealth or material possessions. Every man of success has heard 100 comments about their bank accounts, cars, or luxury brands they wear. So, while acknowledging their success is fine, it's far more meaningful to compliment their character and personal qualities. 4. Instance. Instead of saying something like, "Wow, you must have a really impressive portfolio of investments," or "Your car is stunning. I bet it's worth millions," you could say, "I really admire the way you handled that debate earlier." Your ability to stay calm and composed under pressure is something to be respected. This type of compliment shows that you appreciate something beyond the material. You're admiring his intellect, composure, or his ability to manage difficult situations, which makes you stand out as someone who notices what truly matters. Don't just compliment, appreciate their character. The best way to make a lasting impression is by complimenting them on the qualities that define who they are, not just what they own. For example, "I admire how you always seem to handle challenges with such grace and humility. It's rare to meet someone with your level of poise." These types of compliments speak to their character and wisdom, not just their material wealth. A man like this is often surrounded by people who want to talk about his money, his status, or his achievements. But when you compliment his integrity, his leadership skills, or his ability to remain grounded, you'll be remembered for it. Use thoughtful gestures. It's not just about what you say. Sometimes it's about how you make someone feel. Subtle, thoughtful gestures go a long way. For example, if you see something that resonates with him during a conversation, maybe he's mentioned an interest in a particular book or hobby, you could casually bring it up later. "I remember you mentioned you enjoy reading about world history. I came across a book the other day that I think you'd love. Would you be interested in hearing more about it?" Such a thoughtful gesture shows that you are genuinely interested in his passions and preferences, which is a far more meaningful connection than any superficial compliment. Embrace your own subtle elegance. Lastly, don't forget that your own presence can leave a lasting impression. There's something incredibly attractive about a woman who doesn't need to speak loudly, or often to make herself known. Elegance in speech, mannerisms, and demeanor goes a long way. When you move through a room with grace, speak with intention, and allow pauses in your conversation to let your words sink in, you create a lasting, subtle impression. You don't have to compete for attention. Your presence alone will draw others to you, and the right kind of person will be captivated by this. Final thought. What sets you apart in the eyes of successful men isn't your ability to talk about the latest trends or material wealth. It's your capacity to appreciate the deeper qualities that make them who they are. Compliment their character, engage with their ideas, and approach them with genuine curiosity and grace. These small acts of subtlety will leave an impression far more enduring than the most extravagant praise. By mastering the art of subtlety, you won't just stand out in the crowd. You'll create a memorable connection that lasts. Once the conversation has begun to flow, the next step is to identify common ground. People are naturally drawn to those who share similar passions. Whether it's an interest in travel, sports, art, or something else, discovering a mutual hobby or passion can help you build a deeper connection. It's not just about finding something you both like. It's about engaging in a conversation that feels personal and meaningful. When you both connect over something you care about, it creates a sense of camaraderie and trust. And let's face it, we all enjoy talking to someone who gets excited about the same things we do. Here's how you can use shared interests to spark deeper connections. Discover his passion and share yours. The key to successful conversation is to listen and pay attention to what he truly cares about. Once you identify his interests, you can seamlessly share your own experiences or insights that align with his passions. This creates a bridge between the two of you, allowing for a natural and enjoyable exchange. If he loves travel, if he's an avid traveler, ask about his favorite destinations or the places on his bucket list. If you've traveled to some of the places he loves, this is the perfect opportunity to share your own stories. You could say something like, "I've always wanted to visit Nepal. I hear the views from the mountains are absolutely breathtaking. I actually went to Switzerland a few years ago, and the Alps left me speechless." What's been your most memorable travel experience? Not only are you showing an interest in his passion, but you're also sharing your own experiences, which creates a sense of connection through a shared love of adventure. If he loves golf, if he enjoys golfing, you can easily connect by discussing something you both appreciate about the sport. Maybe you don't know much about golf, but you can ask questions to show genuine interest. You could say, "I've been hearing a lot about the perfect golf swing lately. Do you have any tips for someone like me who's still learning? I bet you've got that perfect swing down." Even if you're not a golf pro, your genuine curiosity about his expertise shows that you value his interests. Plus, asking for tips or advice is a great way to start a mutually respectful dialogue, where he can share his knowledge and you can learn. Example 3. If he's passionate about art, if he's into art, don't be afraid to talk about your own appreciation for it. You don't need to be an expert to engage in a meaningful conversation. Share your thoughts on the kinds of art that inspire you, or ask questions that show you're curious to learn more. For example, I recently saw an exhibition featuring contemporary art, and I couldn't help but be fascinated by the work of this artist named Banksy. Do you have any favorite artists or styles of art? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This type of question invites him to share his own passion for art, while also allowing you to connect over your shared interest in creativity and expression. If you're not familiar with the topic, ask questions. If you don't know much about a certain topic he's passionate about, don't be afraid to ask questions. The key is to ask with genuine curiosity. People love talking about their passions, and most will be happy to share their insights. You don't need to be an expert in everything he loves. Instead, show that you're interested in learning. For example, if you're not familiar with his favorite sport, you could ask, "I've always seen you golfing, but I've never really understood the rules. What's the most challenging part of the game for you?" This allows him to explain something he loves in a way that makes him feel knowledgeable and respected, while you gain insight into something new. Be authentic and curious. Even if you don't have a lot of experience in his area of interest, your genuine curiosity will be appreciated. Men are more likely to engage in a deeper conversation when they feel like someone truly wants to know more about what excites them. So, don't feel pressured to fake knowledge about a subject. Just be authentic and curious. For instance, if he's talking about a recent business venture or project he's working on, and you're unfamiliar with the details, simply ask, "That sounds fascinating. What inspired you to get involved in that project? I'd love to learn more about it." This shows that you're listening, that you care about what excites him, and that you're genuinely interested in understanding his world. Final thought. Building a connection through shared interests is one of the most powerful ways to form a meaningful bond. By asking questions, showing curiosity, and sharing your own experiences, you'll create a sense of camaraderie that goes beyond small talk. Find common ground, dive deeper into the topics that matter to both of you, and allow the conversation to evolve naturally. When you share passions, ideas, and experiences, you open the door to something far more substantial. You've started the conversation, you've found common ground, and now you're connecting. But don't make the mistake of becoming too available or too eager to please right away. Successful men, particularly those who are wealthy, are used to being adored and pursued. What they don't often encounter is a woman who knows how to keep a healthy distance, someone who isn't too desperate for their attention. The truth is, maintaining a bit of mystery and not making yourself overly accessible can make them more interested and intrigued by you. A woman who respects her own space and knows when to step back will inevitably keep their curiosity alive. Leave on a high note. One of the best ways to create a sense of intrigue is by leaving a conversation while it's still exciting. Don't linger too long or overstay your welcome. After an engaging chat, politely excuse yourself. It shows that you're not desperate for attention, and it leaves them wanting more. For example, after a pleasant conversation, you could say, "It was so nice talking to you, but I have to head back to my friends now. I really enjoyed our chat." This simple and respectful exit keeps the interaction positive and leaves a bit of mystery, which is far more appealing than appearing too eager to extend the conversation. You don't want them to feel like they've seen all of you right away. Instead, keep them wanting to know more. Don't text immediately. When you meet someone you're interested in, it can be tempting to shoot off a text right away. However, resist the urge to immediately reach out after you part ways. Waiting a bit before responding shows that you have a full life and aren't glued to your phone, waiting for their next move. By texting too soon, you might come across as overly eager. Instead, give it some time. Let them wonder if you're thinking about them. And when you do text, it will feel much more meaningful. It shows that you're interested, but you're also not desperate for their attention. For example, if he texts you after your meeting, you can wait a few hours before responding, keeping the conversation light but still engaging. You could say something like, "It was really nice meeting you today. I'm glad we got to chat about insert topic here. Hope you had a great rest of your evening." This approach gives a little space while still keeping the conversation friendly and inviting. Avoid inviting them out too quickly. After meeting someone you like, it's tempting to quickly suggest another meeting or invite them out for a date. However, don't rush into inviting him to hang out or suggesting a date too soon. Let the relationship develop naturally. If you seem like you're too eager to spend time with him right away, it might make him feel pressured. Instead, let him take the lead when it comes to planning future interactions. Be patient and allow him to pursue you. If he's genuinely interested, he'll make an effort to initiate the next step. For instance, instead of asking him out immediately, you could casually mention your own interests and leave it open-ended. Like, "I've been wanting to try this new restaurant. I heard it's amazing. It would be great to check it out sometime." By leaving it open-ended, you allow him to take the initiative, which puts the power of pursuit back in his hands. Balance. Mystery with interest. The key is to strike the right balance between showing interest and maintaining a little bit of mystery. If you're too available or too enthusiastic, it may give the impression that you're too eager, and successful men often appreciate a bit of unpredictability. Give them the opportunity to pursue you a little. A man who has to work for your attention will likely value your time more and find you much more intriguing. Let him wonder about your thoughts and what you're doing when you're not immediately available. This sense of curiosity is often what drives attraction and keeps the spark alive. Create space for them to pursue. By creating a healthy distance, you give him the space to initiate the next steps. Men love the challenge of pursuit. If you're always readily available or constantly pushing for the next step, it can take away the thrill of the chase. Instead, by keeping a bit of space, you make him more likely to want to pursue you more and take the next step on his own. Final thought. Mastering the art of maintaining the right distance is about knowing when to step back and create space for curiosity and intrigue. If you give him room to pursue you while maintaining your own sense of independence and confidence, you will naturally keep him interested. Successful men are drawn to women who have their own lives and don't depend on their attention for validation. Create that space, and you'll see how powerful it is in keeping him engaged and invested. Whether you've already caught his eye or not, remember one thing. You are living your own life. It's essential to maintain your independence and pursue your passions, dreams, and goals, regardless of what's happening with him. Successful men are not attracted to women who depend on them for validation or happiness. They are drawn to those who already have a rich, fulfilling life and are comfortable in their own skin. Keep pursuing your passion. One of the most attractive things you can do is stay true to your own passions and interests. Whether it's your career, a hobby, or a personal project, showing that you're actively engaged in something meaningful demonstrates ambition and drive, qualities that are incredibly attractive to a man who values success and independence. For example, if you love art, continue attending exhibitions, learning new techniques, and engaging with other artists. If you're passionate about fitness, maintain your routine, stay committed, and challenge yourself. This shows that you are constantly growing and evolving as an individual, which is not only captivating but also inspiring. Example: if you're meeting him after an art event or a new accomplishment at work, casually mention it without being boastful. You could say something like, "I've just finished a new painting for an exhibition next month. It feels amazing to see my progress. What about you? Any new projects you're excited about?" This keeps the focus on your passion, showing that you are living a fulfilling life, and the right man will appreciate that you're confident enough to pursue your dreams. Build a rich social life. A woman who has a strong social network and meaningful relationships outside of her romantic life is incredibly appealing. Men are not looking for someone who is solely focused on them. Instead, they admire a woman who is emotionally and socially independent, comfortable with her own company, and has a fulfilling life of her own. This doesn't mean you should ignore him or push him away. It simply means you shouldn't depend on him to be your sole source of happiness. Spend time with your friends, family, and colleagues. Engage in activities that enrich your life and allow you to grow as an individual. When you're in a place of emotional independence, you radiate confidence, and this makes you more desirable. Example: if he's asking about your weekend plans, instead of saying, "I don't have anything planned yet," you could say, "I'm actually meeting up with some friends for a hike this weekend. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while now. What about you?" This shows him that you have a well-rounded social life and that you're not waiting around for him to fill your time. You have your own life, and he should be interested in becoming a part of it, not the center of it. Be happy with yourself. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of confidence is being truly happy with who you are. When you're comfortable and content in your own skin, it radiates outward and attracts the right kind of attention. Men are naturally drawn to women who love themselves, have a positive outlook, and feel good in their own lives. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or have everything figured out. It means that you're in a place where you're confident in your choices, your decisions, and your ability to create the life you want. Confidence is about owning your story, embracing your flaws, and celebrating your uniqueness. Example: when discussing personal goals or challenges, you could say, "I've been working on some personal projects that have really made me feel empowered. It's great to have something I'm passionate about that brings me fulfillment outside of relationships." This shows that you are emotionally self-sufficient, which is not only attractive, but also essential for a healthy, balanced relationship. You're not dependent on him to provide your happiness. You're already creating it for yourself. Never be the one waiting to be chosen. The most alluring thing you can do is stop acting like you're waiting to be picked. When you feel like you are waiting to be chosen, it sends the message that you're unsure of your worth and that you're desperate for his approval. Instead, own your value and live with the belief that you are worthy of love and attention, but only from someone who truly appreciates you for who you are. Successful, confident men don't want to feel like the sole source of your happiness. They want to feel like partners, not saviors. So don't make him feel like you're waiting for him to define your worth. Live fully in your own power and let him see that he has the privilege of becoming a part of your life. Final thought: a woman who is independent, confident, and happy with herself is incredibly magnetic. She is not defined by the relationship she's in, nor is she reliant on a man to make her whole. Instead, she is someone who adds value to her life every day through her passions, social connections, and unwavering self-belief. When you live authentically, with purpose and passion, you become a woman who not only attracts, but also retains the right kind of attention. A man who is truly worth your time will be drawn to your independence and the depth of your character, and you'll find that he's eager to be a part of your journey, not to complete it, but to share it with you. Winning the heart of a millionaire isn't about flashy displays or relying on luck. It's a journey of self-elevation, where you step into the right spaces with the right mindset. Confident, elegant, and poised. At the heart of this process is the idea of self-improvement. Every step you take is about becoming a better version of yourself, not just to attract him, but to grow into the person you're meant to be. It's about being authentic, showing up as the best version of yourself, and letting your inner beauty shine through. If you focus on becoming that person, someone who is independent, confident, and self-assured, you'll find that attracting the right man, one who truly values you, becomes a natural byproduct. But more importantly, you will win over the best version of yourself, and that is the most rewarding conquest of all. Example. Think of it this way. When you focus on improving yourself, every success, whether it's an inspiring conversation with him or your own personal achievements, becomes a reflection of your growth. And in the end, the greatest prize isn't just winning his heart, but becoming someone you can truly admire and love.